I'm so glad you found your way here. Your brain is holding on to memories right now. Some peaceful, some heavy, deciding which to keep close and which to gently release. Tonight, you'll discover why letting go isn't forgetting, and understand how releasing the past opens the door to deeper sleep. Welcome to Psychology for Sleep. Now settle in. You're in your safe space, while thoughts from yesterday, last week, or years ago quietly drift through your mind like clouds across an evening sky. Allow yourself this moment of gentle exploration. We'll journey through 100 psychology facts about letting go and sleep, from the weight memories carry in your chest, to how your sleeping brain sorts what to hold and what to release, to the bridge between forgiveness and rest. This thoughtful journey through consciousness builds bridges between searching minds. Your gentle support, a like, subscribe, or a quiet share, creates a pathway for more seekers to discover and brings us closer to protect this sanctuary for every tired mind who finds their way here. One peaceful night, one sleepy soul at a time. Your healing journey inspires ours. Let yourself settle completely here. Feel your jaw unclench, your breath deepen naturally. You don't need to solve anything tonight. You can let these thoughts drift past without holding them. Sense that soothing heaviness enveloping you, like your consciousness slowly dimming its brightness. Thoughts dissolving into the peaceful fog of approaching sleep. Safe and undisturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. You're floating where memories rest safely in gentle darkness. Let your mind merge with infinite peace. And now we begin. Your brain never truly forgets the past. It just files memories differently, depending on how you process them. Every experience you've had, from childhood moments to yesterday's conversation, leaves a trace in your neural networks. The hippocampus, a seahorse-shaped structure deep in your brain, initially stores these memories. But here's what's remarkable. Memories aren't static photographs locked in place. They're dynamic patterns that change each time you recall them. Like a story that shifts slightly with each telling. When you hold on to difficult past events, replaying them, analyzing them, resisting them, your brain treats them as current threats rather than archived experiences. This keeps your nervous system activated, your stress hormones elevated, and your mind alert when it should be settling into sleep. The past lives in you not as unchangeable truth, but as neural patterns waiting for permission to soften and transform. Sleep is when your brain decides what to remember and what to let fade. During the night, particularly in the deeper stages of sleep, your brain engages in a sophisticated sorting process. The glymphatic system, discovered by neuroscientists at the University of Rochester in 2012 and extensively studied through 2024, flushes out metabolic waste while simultaneously reorganizing memories. Recent research in neuroscience journals through 2024 shows that during slow-wave sleep, your hippocampus replays the day's experiences to your cortex, like transferring files from temporary to permanent storage. But here's the gentle truth. Not everything needs permanent storage. Your sleeping brain naturally weakens connections to memories that no longer serve you, allowing them to fade like morning mist. When you consciously hold on to past hurts during your waking hours, you're essentially telling your brain to keep refreshing these files, preventing the natural release that sleep offers. Rumination, the mental habit of repeatedly reviewing past events, literally changes your brain's structure. Neuroscientists using functional MRI technology have observed that people who ruminate frequently show increased activity in the default mode network, a collection of brain regions that activate when you're not focused on the outside world. Research in cognitive neuroscience has documented that chronic rumination leads to measurable changes in the anterior cingulate cortex, a region involved in emotional regulation. Recent imaging studies through 2024 continue to reveal how repetitive negative thinking reshapes brain structure over time. The more you mentally replay difficult memories, the stronger those neural pathways become, like walking the same path through a forest until it becomes a well-worn trail. Your brain becomes increasingly efficient at returning to these thoughts. This isn't about who you are as a person. It's simply how brains work. Following natural principles of neural plasticity, the act of letting go activates completely different brain regions than holding on. When you practice acceptance or forgiveness, even quietly, even imperfectly, your prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive center, shows increased activity. This region, located just behind your forehead, is responsible for rational thought, perspective taking, and emotional regulation. Studies in social neuroscience have found that intentional forgiveness practices increase connectivity between the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala, the brain's emotional alarm system. Research continues through 2024, documenting how this connection acts like a gentle hand on a frightened animal, soothing the emotional intensity of memories. When you let go, you're not erasing the past. You're teaching your brain that these memories no longer require an emergency response. The past can exist without dominating your present awareness. Your body physically carries the weight of unprocessed past events. The field of psychoneuroimmunology, studying how psychological states affect the nervous and immune systems, has documented how unresolved emotional experiences manifest in your physiology. When you hold on to resentment, regret, or trauma, your body maintains a state of chronic low-level stress. Your adrenal glands continue producing cortisol. Your heart rate remains slightly elevated, and your muscles hold tension you might not even notice anymore. Studies in mind-body medicine through 2024 have found that participants practicing forgiveness interventions showed measurable decreases in inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein and interleukin-6 within weeks. Your body isn't separate from your mind. It's listening to your thoughts, believing your stories, and responding to the emotional climate you create. Letting go isn't just psychological. It's physiological healing. Sleep architecture, the pattern of sleep stages you cycle through each night, becomes fragmented when your mind cannot release the day. Your sleep normally progresses through 4 stages: N1, light sleep; N2, deeper sleep; N3, slow wave or deep sleep; and REM, rapid eye movement sleep. Each stage serves distinct functions in memory processing, physical restoration, and emotional regulation. Research from sleep science journals through 2024 demonstrates that individuals with high rumination scores spend significantly less time in restorative N3 sleep and experience more frequent awakenings. Their minds, still processing unresolved experiences, pull them back toward wakefulness throughout the night. When you cannot let go during the day, your sleep becomes lighter, more fractured, less restorative. The holding pattern continues even as your eyes close, preventing the deep rest your body desperately needs. There's a crucial difference between remembering the past and being trapped by it. Memory itself isn't the problem. It's your relationship to memory that determines its impact on your sleep and well-being. You can remember a difficult experience without needing to relive it emotionally each time it surfaces. Psychologists call this decentering, the ability to observe your thoughts and memories as mental events rather than absolute truths demanding immediate response. Research on mindfulness and sleep through 2024 has found that practices teaching decentering skills improve sleep quality more effectively than sleep hygiene education alone. The past exists in your memory. Yes, but you exist here, now, with the capacity to hold memories gently rather than gripping them tightly, to acknowledge them without being consumed by them. Your brain possesses a natural mechanism for emotional regulation during sleep, but it requires you to release control. During REM sleep, when most vivid dreaming occurs, your brain reactivates emotional memories in a unique neurochemical environment. Norepinephrine, the stress hormone that typically accompanies emotional arousal, is almost completely absent during REM sleep. This allows your brain to process emotional content without the physiological stress response that normally accompanies it. Dr. Matthew Walker's research at UC Berkeley, updated through 2024, demonstrates that REM sleep essentially provides overnight therapy, your brain revisiting emotional experiences in a calm state, gradually weakening the emotional charge attached to memories. But this process cannot fully engage when you're holding on to experiences with a clenched mental fist during waking hours. Sleep needs you to soften your grip. The stories you tell yourself about past events matter more than the events themselves. Two people can experience the same situation, yet carry completely different emotional burdens based on the narrative they construct around it. Cognitive neuroscience research has used brain imaging to show that the same memory activates different neural networks, depending on the interpretive framework applied to it. When participants reframe a difficult memory with compassion or learning rather than shame or victimhood, activity shifts from the amygdala, emotional alarm, to the prefrontal cortex, rational processing. Your past is not a fixed reality. It's a story you're continually telling yourself. And like any story, it can be retold with different emphasis, different meaning, different endings. You are the narrator, not just the character. Letting go doesn't mean the past didn't matter. It means you're choosing a different relationship with what happened. This is where many people misunderstand release. They believe letting go requires minimizing their experience, pretending pain wasn't real, or absolving those who caused harm. But true letting go acknowledges the full reality of what occurred, while releasing the requirement that it define your present and future. Longitudinal research tracking participants over multiple years through 2024 has found that people who practice what researchers call acknowledgement without attachment show improved sleep quality, reduced anxiety, and better overall health outcomes compared to those who either suppress memories or remain fused with them. The past happened. It shaped you. And now you can choose what happens next. Your circadian rhythm, the internal biological clock regulating sleep and wakefulness, responds to your emotional state. The suprachiasmatic nucleus, a tiny region in your hypothalamus containing about 20,000 neurons, orchestrates this rhythm Research from circadian biology centers through 2024 reveals that chronic stress and unresolved emotional processing can desynchronize circadian rhythms, making it harder to fall asleep at consistent times. When you carry the weight of past events, your stress response system remains partially activated, sending signals that conflict with your natural sleep drive. Your body receives mixed messages, it's time to rest, but there's still unfinished business requiring vigilance. This internal conflict manifests as lying awake, mind racing, unable to surrender to sleep's embrace. The practice of forgiveness, whether toward yourself or others, produces measurable changes in sleep patterns. Forgiveness doesn't require reconciliation, continued relationship, or even communication with the person who caused harm. It's an internal process of releasing the emotional charge attached to past hurts. Randomized controlled trials in behavioral medicine through 2024 have found that participants completing forgiveness interventions report falling asleep significantly faster, often 15 to 20 minutes quicker than before, and experience fewer middle-of-the-night awakenings. Sleep study data confirms these improvements, showing increased sleep efficiency and more time in restorative sleep stages. When you forgive, you're not condoning harmful actions. You're freeing yourself from the exhausting work of carrying anger and hurt through every day and night. Your breath serves as a bridge between conscious letting go and unconscious release during sleep. The relationship between breathing patterns and emotional states operates bidirectionally. Your emotions affect your breathing, and your breathing affects your emotions. Slow, deep breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which counteracts stress responses and promotes relaxation. Studies in respiratory physiology through 2024 have found that participants who practice extended exhale breathing, inhaling for 4 counts, exhaling for 8 counts, for 10 minutes before bed show increased vagal tone, a marker of parasympathetic activation, and fall asleep significantly faster than control groups. Each breath offers an opportunity to release a little more, to soften the grip on what was, to invite what might be rest. Memory consolidation during sleep strengthens some memories while intentionally weakening others. Your sleeping brain doesn't simply preserve everything equally. It makes decisions about what deserves long-term storage and what can fade. Research in sleep and memory science through 2024 demonstrates that memories associated with high emotional arousal, but tagged as no longer relevant, show accelerated weakening during sleep. The key phrase is tagged as no longer relevant. During your waking hours, when you practice letting go, when you consciously decide a memory no longer needs to define you, you're essentially tagging it for release. Your sleeping brain then honors this decision, gradually dimming the memory's emotional intensity and prominence. The concept of sleep pressure helps explain why holding on to the past creates insomnia. Sleep pressure is the biological drive for sleep that builds throughout your waking hours, primarily through the accumulation of adenosine in your brain. However, hyperarousal, the state of heightened mental and physiological activation from rumination and unprocessed emotions, can override this natural sleep pressure. It's like trying to sleep while your internal alarm system insists there's danger requiring your attention. The perceived danger isn't external. It's the unfinished business of the past your mind believes still needs solving, protecting against, or understanding. Neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to form new neural connections throughout life. means it's never too late to change your relationship with the past. Even memories that have dominated your thoughts for decades can be reprocessed, their emotional intensity reduced, their hold on you loosened. Studies in neuroscience through 2024 have tracked adults who began trauma therapy in their 60s and 70s, documenting significant changes in brain connectivity patterns within 6 months. The same plasticity that allowed difficult memories to become embedded allows new, healthier patterns to form. Your brain remains capable of learning to let go. The timing of when you process difficult emotions matters for sleep quality. Engaging with emotionally charged memories or conflicts within 2 hours of bedtime significantly impairs sleep onset and quality. Your arousal system needs time to settle before you can transition into sleep. Research in sleep medicine through 2024 recommends a sunset practice, setting aside specific time earlier in the day to consciously process difficult emotions. Then, implementing a mental boundary as evening approaches. This isn't avoidance. It's strategic timing that honors both your need for processing and your need for rest. Acceptance and commitment therapy research reveals that psychological flexibility, the ability to be present with uncomfortable thoughts and feelings without being controlled by them, strongly predicts sleep quality. You don't need to eliminate difficult memories or make them disappear. You need to change your relationship with them, allowing them to exist without letting them dictate your emotional state or behaviors. Meta-analyses in behavioral therapy through 2024 have found that ACT interventions improve sleep outcomes across diverse populations, not by removing difficult experiences, but by teaching people to hold them more lightly, more compassionately, more flexibly. Your heart rate variability, the variation in time between consecutive heartbeats, serves as a window into your nervous system's ability to let go and relax. Higher HRV generally indicates better stress resilience and parasympathetic activation. Research in cardiovascular psychophysiology through 2024 demonstrates that practices promoting emotional release, journaling, forgiveness exercises, compassionate self-talk, increase HRV within weeks. Improved HRV correlates strongly with better sleep quality, faster sleep onset, and more time in restorative sleep stages. When you release emotional weight, your heart literally beats with more variability, more adaptability, more ease. The concept of active letting go distinguishes healthy release from suppression or avoidance. Suppression, trying not to think about something, paradoxically strengthens the thought's power, like the classic instruction not to think about white bears. Active letting go involves acknowledging the thought or memory, observing it without judgment, and consciously choosing to redirect attention. Brain imaging studies through 2024 show that active letting go activates the prefrontal cortex, supporting conscious regulation, while suppression shows increased amygdala activity, indicating emotional distress. How you let go matters as much as that you let go. And this creates a cycle. Sleep deprivation itself impairs your ability to let go, creating a self-perpetuating pattern. When you don't sleep well, your emotional regulation capacity diminishes. The prefrontal cortex, which helps you maintain perspective and regulate emotions, shows reduced activity after poor sleep. Meanwhile, the amygdala becomes hyperactive, responding more intensely to emotional stimuli. Researchers found that after just one night of poor sleep, participants show significantly more emotional reactivity to negative stimuli. Poor sleep makes memories feel more threatening, which makes letting go harder, which further disrupts sleep. The body keeps the score. As trauma researcher Dr. Bessel van der Kolk famously documented, but the body also knows how to release it. Somatic practices, those involving physical movement, body awareness, and breath work, help process stored emotional experiences that talk therapy alone might not reach. Reviews in psychology journals through 2024, examining studies on somatic interventions for sleep, have found that practices like gentle yoga, progressive muscle relaxation, and body scan meditations significantly improve sleep quality, particularly for individuals carrying trauma or chronic stress. Writing about difficult experiences activates a process psychologists call expressive writing, which facilitates emotional processing and letting go. Dr. James Pennebaker's decades of research, updated with new findings through 2024, demonstrates that writing about traumatic or stressful events for 15 to 20 minutes daily over several days improves physical health, psychological well-being, and sleep quality. The act of translating nebulous feelings into concrete words helps your brain organize and make sense of experiences, moving them from emotionally charged fragments toward coherent, integrated memories that can be filed away. The neurotransmitter GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid, plays a crucial role in both letting go and falling asleep. GABA is your brain's primary inhibitory neurotransmitter, essentially pressing the brakes on neural activity. Low GABA levels are associated with both anxiety and insomnia. Interestingly, practices that promote letting go, meditation, gentle movement, deep breathing, have been shown in studies through 2024 to increase natural GABA production. When you consciously release mental tension, you're supporting the same neurochemical systems that facilitate sleep. Letting go and falling asleep are neurologically related processes. Halfway through this understanding, recognize that you've already begun the process of letting go simply by being here, listening, allowing these ideas to wash over you. Your presence here suggests an openness to release, a readiness, however tentative, to explore a different relationship with the past. Sleep cannot be forced, and neither can letting go. Both require a kind of surrendering, a softening of effort, a trust in processes deeper than conscious control. You're learning, even now, to release a little more with each breath. Let's pause here and notice your body. As you breathe out slowly, appreciate each tiny cell inside. Trillions of organisms working in silence. Heart beating, lungs breathing, brain sorting memories, all without your command. Notice the gentle sensations on your skin, in your muscles, along your spine. Feel where you might be holding tension, perhaps in your jaw, your shoulders, your hands. You don't need to change anything. Just notice. Your body has been carrying these memories with you. It's been faithful, holding everything you've asked it to hold. Perhaps it's time to set some of that weight down. Not all at once, just a little. Just enough to breathe more easily. You are a complete ecosystem, diverse, self-balancing, always working toward healing. Now we continue. The default mode network in your brain becomes hyperactive when you ruminate on past events, but quiets when you practice present moment awareness. The DMN includes the medial prefrontal cortex, posterior cingulate cortex, and angular gyrus, regions that activate when your mind wanders, particularly towards self-referential thinking about past and future. Research using real-time functional brain imaging through 2024 has shown that experienced meditators can consciously quiet their default mode network, while beginners show persistent activity. The more your DMN dominates, the more you ruminate. The more you ruminate, the harder sleep comes. Learning to quiet this network isn't about stopping thoughts. It's about not following every thought down its rabbit hole. Sleep spindles, brief bursts of brain activity during stage 2 sleep, play a critical role in memory, consolidation, and emotional regulation. These spindles, lasting 1 to 2 seconds and oscillating at 11 to 16 Hz, help transfer memories from the hippocampus to the cortex for long-term storage. Research in sleep neuroscience through 2024 has discovered that sleep spindles also regulate which emotional memories get strengthened and which get weakened. Participants who show more sleep spindles during periods processing negative memories wake up with reduced emotional reactivity to those memories. Your sleeping brain literally spins emotional intensity out of memories, but only if you give it permission during waking hours to begin the release process. The act of self-compassion, treating yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a good friend, directly impacts both your ability to let go and your sleep quality. Research on self-compassion through 2024 demonstrates that self-compassion reduces rumination by interrupting the cycle of self-criticism and shame that often keeps us mentally rehearsing past mistakes. When you approach your memories and experiences with gentleness rather than harsh judgment, your nervous system shifts from threat response to safety response. This physiological shift is reflected in decreased cortisol, reduced heart rate, and increased parasympathetic activation, all conditions that support sleep. You cannot shame yourself into peace, but you can soften yourself toward rest. Theta brainwaves, oscillating at 4 to 8 Hz, dominate the early stages of sleep and are also present during deep meditation and creative states. When you practice letting go through meditation or contemplative exercises, you're essentially training your brain to enter theta states more easily. This has direct implications for sleep onset. Research in psychophysiology through 2024 has found that individuals practicing mindfulness meditation show increased theta activity during pre-sleep periods and fall asleep significantly faster than non-meditators. The brain state of letting go and the brain state of falling asleep share remarkable similarities. Learning one facilitates the other, like parallel paths converging toward the same destination. Attachment to specific outcomes regarding the past, needing it to have been different, requiring apologies that may never come, demanding justice that might not arrive, creates a state of perpetual waiting that's incompatible with rest. Acceptance doesn't mean approval. It means acknowledging reality as it is, rather than insisting it should be different. Longitudinal research tracking participants over multiple years through 2024 has found that those who practice radical acceptance of unchangeable past events show progressive improvements in sleep quality, while those maintaining rigid demands for different outcomes show no improvement or worsening sleep. What is, simply is. What was, cannot be unwas. Peace begins with this recognition. The amygdala, your brain's alarm system, doesn't distinguish between current threats and remembered threats. When you replay traumatic or distressing memories, your amygdala responds as if the event is happening now, triggering a cascade of stress chemicals throughout your body, the same ones that would flood your system during actual danger. This keeps your body in a state of high alert, unable to settle into the softness required for sleep. Neuroimaging research through 2024 has shown that amygdala activation during memory recall directly predicts sleep, latency, and quality that night. Each time you mentally relive the past, you're essentially sounding an alarm that prevents sleep's arrival. Paradoxically, trying too hard to let go can strengthen attachment to what you're trying to release. This phenomenon, called ironic process theory, or the white bear problem, was extensively studied by psychologist Daniel Wegner. When you forcefully try not to think about something, your mind must monitor for that very thing to suppress it, which ironically keeps it present. A gentler approach involves acknowledging difficult memories when they arise, observing them without judgment, and then redirecting attention without force. Think of it like clouds passing through the sky. You don't push them away. You simply watch them drift. Your sleeping brain rehearses letting go through dreams, particularly during REM sleep. Dreams often present emotionally charged scenarios in surreal, symbolic forms, allowing your brain to process feelings without the literal details that might trigger full stress responses. Dream research through 2024 demonstrates that people experiencing major life transitions or trauma who remember and reflect on their dreams show better emotional adjustment and sleep quality than those who don't. Engage with dream content. Your sleeping mind is already practicing release. It's offering you nightly lessons in letting experiences transform and flow. The vagus nerve, a major component of your parasympathetic nervous system, serves as a physical pathway through which letting go becomes embodied relaxation. This nerve connects your brain to your heart, lungs, and digestive system. When activated, it slows heart rate, deepens breathing, and promotes the rest and digest state. Polyvagal theory explains that practices promoting safety and release, gentle self-touch, humming, slow breathing, compassionate self-talk, stimulate vagal activity. Research through 2024 continues documenting how this activation creates the physiological conditions necessary for sleep. Letting go isn't just mental. It's a full-body experience. Gratitude practices help shift attention from what was lost or harmful in the past to what remains valuable in the present. This isn't toxic positivity or dismissing pain. It's consciously balancing the brain's natural negativity bias, which evolved to keep us alert to threats. Research in emotion science through 2024 has found that participants who write about 3 things they're grateful for before bed show increased time in slow-wave sleep and report better mood upon waking. Gratitude gently redirects the spotlight of attention, allowing difficult memories to recede into the background. The concept of grief applies not just to death, but to any significant loss. Lost time, lost opportunities, lost versions of yourself, lost innocence. Unprocessed grief over past experiences creates emotional weight that follows you into bed each night. Contemporary grief work emphasizes that grief isn't linear and doesn't have a timeline, allowing yourself to grieve what was lost without judgment about how long it takes, creates space for authentic release rather than forced forgetting. Sometimes letting go begins with letting yourself fully feel what needs to be felt. Melatonin, your body's sleep hormone, is suppressed by stress. When you hold on to past events that activate stress responses, your pineal gland produces less melatonin in the evening hours. Research in chronobiology through 2024 has found that participants engaging in stress reduction practices, including forgiveness exercises and mindfulness meditation, show normalized melatonin curves within 4 weeks. Their bodies begin producing melatonin at appropriate times again, facilitating natural sleep onset. Letting go supports your natural biochemistry of rest. The stories you tell about your past create neural pathways that either support well-being or undermine it. Narrative psychology research demonstrates that people who construct redemptive narratives, stories that acknowledge pain but also find meaning, growth, or strength, show better psychological outcomes than those who construct contamination narratives, where good things are always ruined. Longitudinal research through 2024 has found that redemptive storytellers show better sleep quality and lower depression rates. You cannot change what happened, but you can change the story you tell about it. Progressive muscle relaxation, developed by physician Edmund Jacobson in the 1920s and refined through decades of research, works partly by teaching your body to recognize the difference between holding on and letting go physically. By systematically tensing and releasing muscle groups, you create vivid contrast between tension and relaxation. This physical practice mirrors and supports psychological letting go. Meta-analyses through 2024 have found progressive muscle relaxation among the most effective non-pharmacological interventions for insomnia, improving both sleep onset and sleep maintenance across diverse populations. At this midpoint in our journey, notice how your body feels now compared to when we began. Perhaps slightly heavier, slightly more relaxed. Perhaps the edges of thoughts have softened just a bit. This is your body's natural wisdom expressing itself. Given permission, given safety, given time, it knows how to release. You don't need to force anything. The river of sleep knows where it's going. Your only task is to stop swimming upstream against its gentle current. Let it carry you now. You're still here with me. Thoughts still flickering like candlelight. Just notice. Don't judge. Just notice where your mind is. We're exploring consciousness itself, the very thing doing the exploring right now. We're learning together how holding and releasing work, how the past and sleep intertwine. Strange, beautiful, and perfectly calm. If you're finding peace here, perhaps others might too. A gentle like or subscribe helps one more tired mind discover this quiet sanctuary. Let's drift onward together. Emotional memory reconsolidation is a neuroscientific discovery that revolutionized our understanding of how memories can change. When you recall a memory, it becomes temporarily unstable, open to modification, before being restored. This window of reconsolidation, lasting several hours, offers an opportunity to update the memory with new information or emotional context. Research in neuroscience through 2024 has demonstrated that pairing memory recall with practices promoting safety and calm, deep breathing, compassionate self-talk, gradually reduces the emotional intensity of difficult memories. Each time you remember, you have a choice. reinforce the old emotional charge, or introduce something new. Compassion, perspective, release. The body scan meditation, a practice where you systematically bring awareness to different body parts, serves as both a sleep induction technique and a letting go practice. By moving attention through your body, you're essentially asking each region, what are you holding? Where is the tension stored? Research in mindfulness practices through 2024 has found that body scan practice before bed reduces both sleep onset time, the intensity of ruminative thoughts. Your body often knows what you're holding on to before your mind consciously recognizes it. Listening to your body's wisdom supports release. Forgiveness of self proves more difficult for many people than forgiving others. Yet it's equally important for sleep and well-being. Self-directed shame and regret activate the same brain regions as external threats. Your mind essentially treats your own past actions as ongoing dangers requiring vigilance. Research in self-identity and psychology through 2024 has found that self-compassion interventions reduce shame-related insomnia more effectively than general cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. When you hold yourself hostage to past mistakes, you create an internal prison that follows you even into sleep. Self-forgiveness is the key. The practice of noting in mindfulness meditation, simply labeling thoughts and feelings as they arise, such as thinking, remembering, worrying, creates psychological distance from mental content. This distance, called metacognitive awareness, allows you to observe your mental activity without being swept away by it. Brain imaging studies through 2024 have shown that noting practice decreases identification with thought content while maintaining awareness of it. For sleep, this means you can notice memories arising without getting caught in the emotional narrative, allowing you to remain relaxed even as thoughts pass through awareness like clouds drifting through sky. Sleep deprivation amplifies negative memories while diminishing positive ones, creating a skewed perspective on the past. After poor sleep, your brain selectively recalls more negative experiences and interprets ambiguous memories more negatively. This creates a vicious cycle where disturbed sleep makes the past seem darker, which generates more distress, which further disturbs sleep. Research through 2024 has demonstrated that even one night of recovery sleep begins to restore balanced memory processing. Rest doesn't just refresh your body. It restores balanced perspective on your life story. The sunset review practice involves intentionally setting aside time before evening to acknowledge difficult emotions and memories, then consciously transitioning toward rest mode. This creates a contained space for processing while protecting sleep. Contemporary research on positive psychology through 2024 suggests spending the last 30 minutes before bed focusing on positive or neutral experiences, allowing these to be the final impressions before sleep. This isn't denial of difficulty. It's strategic sequencing that honors both your need to process and your need to rest. Oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, also plays a role in emotional healing and sleep. Physical affection, connecting with loved ones. Even petting animals increases oxytocin. Higher oxytocin levels are associated with reduced stress, improved mood, and better sleep quality. Research through 2024 has found that participants engaging in compassionate touch practices, self-massage, placing hand on heart, before bed show increased oxytocin and improved sleep metrics. Sometimes letting go requires first feeling held. safe, worthy of gentleness. Sensations oxytocin helps create. The concept of temporal discounting explains why recent events feel more emotionally intense than distant ones. Your brain naturally gives more weight to recent experiences. This means time itself is an ally in letting go. As events recede into the past, they naturally lose emotional intensity if you're not constantly bringing them back into the present through rumination. Research through 2024 confirms that memories naturally fade in emotional intensity over time, unless actively rehearsed. Simply allowing time to pass, without constant review, facilitates organic release. Sleep hygiene alone, maintaining consistent sleep schedules, dark rooms, cool temperatures, improve sleep quality, only about 15 to 20% for people with stress-related insomnia. The missing component involves addressing the psychological factors keeping you awake. Comprehensive reviews in sleep medicine through 2024 emphasize that for people carrying unresolved past experiences, sleep hygiene must be combined with emotional processing techniques. Your bedroom environment matters. Yes, but the internal environment of your mind, the thoughts, memories, and emotions you bring to bed, matters more. Creating external conditions for sleep without addressing internal barriers yields limited results. Halfway through our journey, the answer is emerging. Letting go of past events affects your sleep because your brain and body cannot fully relax while maintaining vigilance over unfinished emotional business. Sleep requires surrender, and surrender requires trust. Trust that you'll be okay without constant monitoring of past threats. This isn't about dismissing real pain or real harm. It's about recognizing that the past, while it shaped you, no longer needs to be actively guarded against. The danger has passed. The moment is now, and now is safe enough to rest. Let's pause again. Here, at the halfway point, take a slow, deep breath. Consider this: the past you're remembering exists only in memory now. It's not happening. It happened. The difference is profound. What's happening is this moment. Your breath moving in and out. Your body resting. Sounds around you. The gentle darkness or soft light wherever you are. The past lives in you. Yes, but you live here. Now. And here. Now. In this present moment. You are safe. Let each breath guide you to realize this moment is yours. A separate stream that only you are living. While the vast universe continues spinning, this second you're breathing, listening, is unique. Cherish the present moment, knowing that right now, there is nothing you need to fix, solve, or change about what has already been. The past is complete. This moment is unfolding. Sleep is approaching, and we continue drifting. The autonomic nervous system has two branches: sympathetic, fight or flight, and parasympathetic, rest and digest. Unresolved past events keep your sympathetic system partially activated, like a car idling in neutral, not moving forward, but engine still running, consuming energy. The parasympathetic system cannot fully engage for sleep while sympathetic activation persists. Letting go shifts the balance, allowing parasympathetic dominance. Research through 2024 has found that forgiveness practices increase heart rate variability and vagal tone, both markers of parasympathetic activation. When you release, your entire nervous system shifts from alertness toward rest. Sleep serves as emotional first aid, processing and healing psychological wounds if given the chance. But when you hold on to emotional pain during waking hours, you're essentially keeping the wound open, preventing healing. Research on dreams and emotional processing, updated through 2024, has found that people who allow themselves to grieve and process during both waking and sleeping hours recover faster and show better sleep quality than those who avoid emotional processing. Your sleep wants to heal you. It's waiting for your permission to close old wounds rather than keep them raw and exposed. Cognitive fusion. When you become completely identified with your thoughts, unable to distinguish between thinking and being, makes letting go nearly impossible. Acceptance and commitment therapy teaches cognitive diffusion, creating space between you, the observer, and your thoughts. Mental events. Simple phrases like, "I'm having the thought that," or "I notice I'm remembering," create this space. Meta-analyses through 2024 have found that diffusion techniques significantly improve sleep quality by reducing the power of ruminative thoughts to trigger emotional arousal. Your sleep environment can be perfect. Dark, quiet, cool. But if your internal environment is turbulent, sleep won't come easily. This explains why the same bedroom that provided perfect sleep during peaceful periods becomes a place of frustration during times of emotional distress. The external hasn't changed. The internal has. Research through 2024 has found that addressing psychological factors produces larger improvements in sleep quality than optimizing sleep environment alone. The most important sleep environment is the one inside your mind. Compassion meditation practices, where you direct kind wishes toward yourself and others, including those who've caused harm, produce measurable brain changes related to both emotional regulation and sleep. Functional brain imaging studies through 2024 have shown that regular compassion practice increases activity in brain regions associated with empathy and emotional regulation, while decreasing amygdala reactivity. Participants also report falling asleep faster and sleeping more soundly. Compassion softens the grip of resentment, creating spaciousness where tension once lived. The difference between reflection and rumination is crucial. Reflection involves thinking about past events to gain insight and move forward. Rumination involves repetitively rehashing events without reaching resolution or peace. Reflection has a forward movement. Rumination circles endlessly. Research through 2024 has found that people who practice constructive reflection, asking what can be learned rather than what went wrong, show better sleep and lower depression than chronic ruminators. How you engage the past determines whether it imprisons or instructs you. Cortisol, your primary stress hormone, follows a natural daily rhythm called the cortisol awakening response. It should peak in the morning and gradually decline toward bedtime. Chronic stress and unresolved emotional pain flatten this curve, keeping cortisol elevated at night when it should be low. Elevated nighttime cortisol interferes with sleep onset and maintenance. Research through 2024 has found that stress reduction practices restore healthy cortisol rhythms within weeks. When you let go emotionally, your hormonal rhythms can return to their natural, sleep-supporting patterns. The practice of loving-kindness meditation extends compassion first to yourself, then to loved ones, neutral people, difficult people, and finally, all beings. This progressive expansion of compassion has been shown to reduce anger, resentment, and stress. Research through 2024 has found that 8 weeks of loving-kindness practice improve sleep quality and reduce insomnia severity. By softening your heart toward yourself and others, even those who've caused pain, you create internal conditions that support rest rather than resistance. Your expectations about sleep matter significantly. If you believe you won't sleep well, this belief creates anxiety that becomes self-fulfilling. Similarly, if you believe the past will always haunt you, this belief maintains its power. Research through 2024 has found that challenging catastrophic beliefs about both sleep and past experiences reduces insomnia severity. Sometimes letting go begins with releasing the story that letting go is impossible. What if it's not? The safe place visualization technique involves mentally constructing a detailed imaginary location where you feel completely safe, calm, and at peace. This activates the same brain regions involved in actual safety responses. When intrusive memories arise, you can mentally move to this safe place, essentially training your brain that you have agency over your internal experience. Research through 2024 has found that safe place practice reduces nightmare frequency and improves sleep quality for trauma survivors. Sleep restriction therapy, paradoxically, sometimes helps chronic insomniacs by consolidating sleep into a shorter window, then gradually expanding it. This creates sleep pressure that overcomes hyperarousal. However, for people holding on to past trauma, sleep restriction alone is insufficient. Comprehensive approaches combining emotional processing with sleep restriction, studied through 2024, produce better outcomes than either intervention alone. The body needs both permission to sleep and reasons to feel safe enough to do so. Bilateral stimulation, alternating left-right sensory input through eye movements, tapping, or sound, is used in EMDR therapy to process traumatic memories. Recent research suggests it may work by engaging both brain hemispheres during memory recall, facilitating integration and reducing emotional charge. Reviews through 2024 have found that EMDR significantly improves both trauma symptoms and sleep quality, with effects maintained at 1-year follow-up. The concept of post-traumatic growth, positive psychological changes following adversity, offers an alternative to viewing past difficulties purely as sources of damage. Research documenting 5 domains of potential growth: personal strength, new possibilities, relating to others, appreciation of life, and spiritual change, continues through 2024. When you can find meaning in suffering, the past transforms from pure burden to complex teacher, easier to integrate and release. Imagery rehearsal therapy for nightmares involves choosing a recurring nightmare, changing the narrative to something less distressing, and rehearsing the new version while awake. This rewrites the emotional script your brain follows during sleep. Meta-analyses through 2024 have found imagery rehearsal therapy reduces nightmare frequency and improves sleep quality across multiple populations. You have more power over your sleeping mind than you might realize. Even nightmares can be transformed. We now understand that letting go isn't a single event, but an ongoing practice. Like waves gradually smoothing a stone. Some days you'll hold loosely. Other days your grip tightens. This is normal, human, expected. Progress isn't linear. A difficult anniversary might temporarily strengthen old patterns. Gentleness with yourself during these fluctuations matters more than perfect consistency. The overall direction toward release is what matters, not perfect execution. Your brain is constantly making predictions about the future based on past experiences. This is how you navigate the world efficiently. But this predictive processing can also trap you in cycles where past pain predicts future pain. Updating these predictions requires both new experiences and conscious reframing. When you practice letting go, you're essentially teaching your brain that the future doesn't have to mirror the past. The hormone adenosine builds in your brain throughout the day, creating sleep pressure. But stress chemicals can override adenosine's sleep signal. This is why you can feel exhausted yet unable to sleep. Your body wants rest, but your mind remains alert to perceived threats from unresolved past experiences. Letting go reduces stress hormones, allowing adenosine to do its job of bringing sleep. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation or passivity about future situations. It means acknowledging past reality without continuing to struggle against what has already occurred. You can accept what happened while still working to prevent similar situations in the future. This distinction, accepting the unchangeable past while influencing the changeable future, creates psychological freedom that supports both well-being and sleep. The glymphatic system, your brain's waste removal process, functions primarily during sleep. It clears out metabolic waste products and toxins that accumulate during waking hours. When sleep is disrupted by rumination and stress, this cleaning process is impaired. Poor sleep leads to waste accumulation, which further impairs cognitive and emotional function, making letting go even harder. Emotional granularity, the ability to identify and label specific emotions rather than just feeling bad or upset, helps process difficult feelings. Research shows that people with higher emotional granularity regulate emotions more effectively and experience less emotional suffering. Studies through 2024 have found that emotion labeling practices improve sleep by reducing undifferentiated emotional arousal that interferes with rest. The practice of mental noting during meditation creates a gentle awareness of mental content without getting caught in it. When a memory arises, you simply note remembering and return attention to breath. This trains your mind to observe without engaging, creating freedom from the pull of past events. Sleep comes more easily to the observing mind. Your beliefs about sleep create powerful effects. If you believe you're a bad sleeper because of past experiences, this identity becomes self-reinforcing, reframing your sleep narrative. I'm learning to sleep better, or I'm healing my relationship with sleep, opens possibility. Identity is more fluid than it feels. Letting go includes releasing limiting self-concepts. Research on resilience shows that it's not the absence of difficulty that determines well-being, but how you relate to difficulty. People who view challenges as opportunities for growth show better outcomes than those who view them as threats. This applies to both how you process past events and how you approach sleep difficulties. The body's relaxation response, decreased heart rate, slower breathing, reduced muscle tension, cannot coexist with the stress response. They're physiologically incompatible. When you practice relaxation techniques, you're not just calming your mind, you're creating bodily conditions where holding on to stress becomes physically impossible. The body leads the mind toward release. At this point in our journey, you've learned that letting go of past events affects your sleep because your entire being, brain, body, nervous system, hormones, cannot simultaneously prepare for rest and maintain vigilance over the past. Sleep requires surrender. Surrender requires safety. And safety begins with release. You might be feeling tired now. That's perfectly fine. Breathe slowly. Feel the cycles. Everything moves in circles. Breath in, breath out. Day into night. Waking into sleeping. Holding into releasing. Your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. A small cycle within the vast universe. You are also part of that eternal movement. You don't need to hold on to anything. Everything that needs to stay will stay. Everything ready to leave will leave. You don't have to decide. You don't have to force. Like planets silently rotating in their orbits. Unhurried. Unresisting. Simply existing. Let everything unfold in its perfect order. The past has already unfolded. It's complete. Its orbit is finished. You are here now, in this moment's orbit, gently circling towards sleep. Let yourself be carried by these natural rhythms. You are safe in the cycle. We're almost there now, just a little further into the gentle darkness. Wisdom traditions across cultures recognize that clinging causes suffering, while release brings peace. Buddhism speaks of attachment, Christianity of forgiveness, Stoicism of acceptance. Modern neuroscience confirms what contemplatives have known for millennia. The clenched fist of holding on creates tension throughout your entire being. The open palm of letting go allows energy to flow freely. You don't need to believe in any particular tradition to recognize this truth in your own experience. Notice how holding feels. Notice how release feels. Your body knows. Sleep itself is the ultimate practice of letting go. You surrender control. Release conscious awareness. Allow your mind to drift into states beyond your direction. If you can fall asleep, you already know how to let go. You do it every night, perhaps without recognizing this profound act of trust. Falling asleep proves you're capable of release. The question isn't whether you can let go, but whether you can extend this nightly practice into your waking hours, releasing the past as you release into sleep. The gentlest way to let go is not to push memories away, but to make space beside them for something else. Gratitude, beauty, presence, connection. Your mind can hold multiple experiences simultaneously. When you expand your awareness beyond the difficult memory to include the fullness of this moment, the memory naturally occupies less space. It's still there, but it's no longer everything. Like a single star in a sky full of stars, present but not dominating the entire view. Forgiveness researcher Dr. Fred Luskin found that forgiveness is a trainable skill, not a personality trait or religious obligation. His research, updated through 2024, shows that anyone can learn to forgive regardless of past hurt. The process involves acknowledging pain, choosing to release the grievance, and finding meaning beyond the hurt. Thousands of participants in forgiveness workshops report reduced anger, less stress, better sleep, and improved health. Letting go is learnable. You're learning right now. Sometimes the past we need to release isn't a single traumatic event, but a gradual accumulation of small disappointments, unmet expectations, daily frustrations. These accumulate like dust, individually light but collectively heavy. The practice here isn't dramatic confrontation, but gentle, regular clearing. A daily practice of noticing what you're carrying that no longer serves you and setting it down. Small releases add up to profound freedom. Each breath out is an opportunity to release a little more. The concept of good enough applies to letting go just as it applies to sleep. You don't need perfect release to sleep better. You don't need to forgive completely to find peace. Incremental progress, even tiny steps toward loosening your grip, creates measurable improvements. Studies through 2024 have found that participants who reduce rumination by just 20% show significant sleep improvements. Don't wait for perfect letting go. Imperfect release is still release. Good enough is truly good enough. Your mind will sometimes return to old patterns, old memories, old pain. This doesn't mean you've failed at letting go. It means you're human. Neural pathways established over years don't disappear overnight. Each time you notice yourself returning to the past and gently redirect toward the present, you're strengthening new pathways. Over time, the old paths weaken, the new paths strengthen. Progress isn't absence of return. It's shorter stays and gentler departures. The practice of mental aikido involves using the energy of difficult thoughts rather than fighting them. When a painful memory arises, instead of pushing it away or diving into it, you might observe it with curiosity. What is this thought trying to protect me from? What need was unmet in this past experience? This transforms the memory from enemy into messenger. Once the message is received, the messenger can depart. Research on post-traumatic stress reveals that avoidance of trauma memories actually strengthens their power and interferes with natural recovery processes. Gentle, supported exposure to memories, combined with regulation techniques and safe conditions, allows the emotional charge to gradually decrease. This isn't the same as rumination. It's intentional, bounded processing with the goal of integration rather than avoidance. What you can face, you can release. What you avoid continues to haunt. The Buddhist concept of impermanence teaches that everything changes. Nothing lasts forever, including pain, including memories, including the grip of the past. Neuroscience confirms this. Your brain is constantly changing. Your body is constantly replacing cells. Your memories are constantly being reconstructed. The you who experienced past events is literally not the same you existing now. You have already changed. Recognition of this allows further change. Sleep researchers emphasize that worrying about not sleeping makes insomnia worse. Similarly, worrying about not being able to let go strengthens the pattern of holding on. The paradox is that trying too hard to release creates its own form of clinging. Clinging to the goal of release, the gentlest approach accepts where you are right now, including any difficulty letting go, without adding struggle to struggle. Sometimes letting go means acknowledging that you may never get the closure, apology, or justice you deserve. This is one of the more difficult truths to accept, that closure may not come from external sources. And yet, your well-being cannot be held hostage to whether others change or acknowledge harm. You can create your own closure through internal processes: grief, acceptance, meaning-making, moving forward. Your peace cannot depend on others' actions. It must come from within. The practice of future self-visualization involves imagining the version of you who has released these past burdens. How does that future self sleep? How does that person move through their day? What has become possible? Connecting with this future self creates a pull toward change, a sense of direction. You're not just letting go of something, you're moving towards something better. Research on habit formation shows that replacement works better than elimination. Rather than trying to stop ruminating, elimination. Practice redirecting to present moment awareness when rumination starts. Replacement. The new habit gradually takes the place of the old. This applies to sleep too. Create new, positive associations with bedtime rather than fighting old, negative patterns. Replace rather than remove. The answer to why does letting go of past events affect your sleep is now fully clear, because holding on keeps your entire system in a state of activation, incompatible with rest, while releasing allows the natural unwinding necessary for sleep. Every biological system involved in sleep functions better when you've made peace with the past. It's that simple and that profound. Your sleeping brain will continue the work of letting go that you begin during waking hours. Dreams process emotions. Memory consolidation weakens unimportant connections, and natural healing occurs. You're not alone in this work. Sleep itself is your ally, working through the night to support the release you practice during the day. Trust this partnership. The practice of self-forgiveness often involves writing a letter to yourself, acknowledging mistakes, expressing compassion, and granting forgiveness. Research shows this simple practice reduces shame, improves mood, and enhances sleep quality. You deserve your own kindness. You deserve to be released from your own judgment. The past version of you did the best they could. Consider that every person who's ever lived has carried regrets, made mistakes, experienced pain. You're not uniquely flawed or uniquely burdened. You're human, which means you're imperfect, which means you're in the largest possible community of beings. This recognition softens isolation, makes peace more accessible, sleep easier to find. The natural world demonstrates letting go constantly. Trees releasing leaves, rivers releasing water to the ocean, clouds releasing rain. Nothing in nature clings forever. Everything flows, cycles, transforms, releases. You are nature too. The same laws apply. Releasing is as natural as breathing out. You were made for this. Some nights you'll sleep well. Other nights, despite your best efforts, sleep will be elusive. This doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human in a complex world. The practice isn't perfect sleep every night. It's kindness toward yourself regardless of how any particular night goes. The real change isn't in the past. The past is unchangeable. The real change is in you, in your relationship to what happened, in your capacity to hold experience with increasing gentleness, wisdom, and peace. This change is already happening. You're already different than when we began. Letting go is not a destination you arrive at, but a direction you move in. Some days you'll move swiftly, other days barely at all. The direction matters more than the speed. Trust the direction. Trust yourself. Trust the process unfolding. Sleep is waiting for you, patient as the ocean, constant as the stars. It's not withholding itself. It's simply waiting for you to release what you're holding, to soften your grip, to trust its embrace. It's been waiting all along. Everything you've learned tonight can be distilled to this: the past is complete. The present is here, and sleep is near. What was. What is. And what's coming is rest. Gentle, deserved, healing rest. So the ultimate truth isn't complicated. Let the past be past. Let yourself be here. Let sleep be sleep. Let go be let go. Let everything soften. Let everything settle. Let everything rest, including you. And so, our quiet journey through the landscape of letting go and sleep comes to a gentle close. We've traveled from the neural pathways that keep memories alive to the brain states that allow them to soften and fade, discovering along the way that holding on and sleeping well are fundamentally incompatible acts. From the amygdala's alarm to the prefrontal cortex's soothing, from cortisol's tension to melatonin's invitation to rest, we've glimpsed how every system in your being either supports your clinging or supports your release. The past happened. It shaped you. It taught you. And now, tonight, you can choose a different relationship with it. Letting go reminds us that we are not our memories, not our mistakes, not our wounds. We are the awareness that holds all of these things, capable of holding them loosely rather than tightly, with compassion rather than condemnation. Much of the deepest healing happens in silence, in sleep, in the spaces between thoughts where your brain sorts and releases and transforms. By pausing to notice, to practice, to soften, you create the conditions where healing becomes possible. In these final minutes, take the deepest breath you can, as deep as possible. Think about unity of every moment, every memory, every version of yourself that has ever been, all connected, all part of the same continuous stream of consciousness flowing through time. You are not separate from your past. You are not defined by your past. You are the river, and the past is water that has already flowed downstream, supporting you, shaping your course, but no longer here in this moment. Let your entire being dissolve into the flow of time, into the stream of consciousness, into the ocean of rest that holds all experiences without judgment, without clinging, without resistance. Prepare for deep sleep. No boundaries left between you and peace. Only rest. Only release. Only breath becoming slower. Slower, fading into silence. If this thoughtful exploration of the mind helped you release even a small burden tonight, perhaps like, subscribe, or share it softly with someone else who might be carrying their own heavy past, searching for permission to finally set it down. It might be exactly what another restless mind needs to finally let go and drift. One quiet tap, one peaceful night, one sleepy soul at a time. But there's no need to do anything now. Nothing at all. You've traveled far tonight, through memories and neurons, through past and present, through holding and releasing. You can allow these thoughts about letting go to fade now, like leaves drifting on water, carried by currents you don't need to control, leaving only the gentle, calm knowing behind. Let your breathing deepen naturally. Let your body feel heavier, as if gravity itself is gently pulling you down into the soft surface beneath you, inviting you to stop holding yourself up, to trust that you'll be held. If sleep comes, Let it carry you like a river flowing to the ocean, smoothly, inevitably, into a realm where time and weight and memory no longer matter, where everything dissolves into peaceful darkness. If your eyes are still open, the next video is waiting for you, ready to continue this gentle journey toward rest. But if they're closed, stay there. Stay in the darkness that feels safe and warm. Stay in the letting go. Tomorrow, the past will still be the past. Memories will still exist. But tonight belongs to release. Tonight belongs to rest. Tonight belongs to the deep healing that only sleep can bring. You don't need to hold anything anymore. Not your mistakes. Not your pain. Not your regrets. Not even the good things that have passed. Everything is exactly as it should be. You are exactly where you need to be. And sleep is right here, waiting with infinite patience and unconditional welcome. Rest well, gentle soul, and remember, the past has already let go of you. Now you can let go of it. Sleep deeper with bedtime psychology. Dream peacefully with the science of letting go. Release into rest with each gentle breath. Good night.